Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here, I have a broken digital receiver that is no longer working. But instead of throwing it away, today, I'm going to turn it into a homemade antenna. First, I remove the outer casing to access the internal components. Next, I take out the circuit board and begin inspecting its structure. After a closer look, I notice that there are two solder points on the circuit board that can be reused as connection points for the antenna wiring system. Next, I add fresh solder to these old solder joints. Creating new solder joints increases the contact surface and ensures a more stable electrical connection during operation. In the next step, I use these two wires as the connection wires for the antenna. First, I strip the ends of both wires to expose the copper cores inside. This makes the soldering process easier and ensures better electrical conductivity. Next, I solder the ends of the two wires to the two solder points on the circuit board that I prepared earlier. These wires will act as the signal bridge between the circuit board and the receiving parts of the antenna. After finishing the solder joints, I place the circuit board back into its original position inside the digital receiver. Next, I reassemble the outer casing of the receiver as it was before. At the same time, I leave the two connected wires coming out through a hole in the casing. This makes it easier to connect the external antenna parts in the next steps without needing to open the casing again. Next, I use a terminal block as the central connection part for the antenna. This component helps connect the wires more securely and makes future adjustments or disassembly much easier. First, I apply hot glue to the bottom of the terminal block. Then, I attach it firmly to the digital receiver casing. In the next step, I connect the two antenna wires to the two ends of the terminal block. This allows the signal from the internal circuit board to be transferred to the external receiving system. However, the metal cores inside the terminal block are separated by plastic, so they cannot connect directly to each other. To solve this, I use a copper wire and bend it into two hook-shaped connectors to bridge the four metal cores inside the terminal block. After finishing, I apply more hot glue to secure the copper wire onto the digital receiver. This makes the structure stronger and prevents the wires from moving during use. Next, I use a piece of signal cable as the receiving part of the antenna. First, I remove the outer insulation of the cable to prepare it for building the signal receiver. Next, I strip a longer section from the other end of the cable to expose the copper core inside. This copper core will act as the main signal receiving element of the antenna. After that, I wrap the copper core around a screwdriver to shape it like a spring. The spring-shaped design helps increase the contact surface with radio waves and can improve signal reception. Next, I attach the signal cable to the terminal block to connect it with the antenna system. To improve signal reception, I make another cable in the same way and connect it to the other side of the terminal block. In the next step, I use a long cable as the connection wire between the antenna and the TV. First, I strip the outer insulation from both ends of the cable to create the connection points. Next, I attach one end to a TV connector jack so it can be plugged into the TV signal port. After that, I wrap tape around the connection to secure and protect it. Finally, I connect the other end of the cable to the terminal block on the antenna. Now, I'm going to test it in real-world conditions to see how effective it really is. First, I'll switch to a TV channel to check the signal reception without connecting the antenna. As you can see, without the antenna connected, the TV only displays the message, no signal. Next, I'll connect the DIY antenna to the signal input on the back of the TV for the actual test. And here is the result. Almost immediately after connecting the antenna, the TV channels begin to appear. To make the test more convincing, I'll perform one more experiment. I disconnect the antenna from the TV and observe the signal changes. As soon as the antenna is unplugged, the screen instantly returns to the no signal message. Now, I'll reconnect the antenna once again. As you can see, within just a few seconds, the channels reappear and continue working normally. If you enjoyed this project or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.